Dear students, welcome to Tungal online classes. So today we'll start with a new topic, that is organ and organ system. So in the last class that we discussed what is nervous tissue, what it comprises of, so what are the neurons, what are neuroglial cells, what are their respective functions. All these are the things that we studied in the last video, and now we shall start with the organ and organ system. Yes. What are these organs? What are made up of? What are these organs made up of? Right? So these are the things. Let us see now. So as we know, cells are the basic fundamental units. So which makes this entire body, and all these cells together form what? Tissues. So tissues are made of cells. Cells may be similar, dissimilar sometimes, right? So almost all similar cells which have common origin, function, etc. Such kind of group of cells together called as tissue, right? So we studied the animal tissues, different types of animal tissues that we studied. So what are those? One, epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue, as well as nervous tissue. These are the four major types of animal tissues that we studied previously. Animal tissues that we studied previously. These tissues together form organs. So in animals, usually one organ is made up of several number of tissues. Maybe one or two tissues, or sometimes all the four kinds of tissues that is made up of. Say for example, skin is there, heart is there. Heart is made up of all the four kinds of animal tissues, right? So organs, example heart, or you may take a skin, etc. So all these are said as organs. Heart itself is made up of all the four kinds of tissues. Together form the entire organ, that is heart. The same as skin, epithelial tissue it contains, right? So like this, so organs these are. What are organ systems? So many number of organs together form organ systems, right? So I shall give some examples for that one. Organ systems, right? Organ systems. Example for this one is digestive system. What is that? Digestive system is there. Nervous system is there, right? And respiratory system is there. Excretory system is there. So all these are the different kinds of the systems that we come across. One is the digestive system. One is digestive system. So in this digestive system, oral cavity or buccal cavity, pharynx. So next one is esophagus, stomach, as well as small intestine, large intestine. Like this, many number of so the organs together form what? One organ system, right? So this is how the body is organized with. If the body of the animals is organized with the organs, then that organization itself is said to be as organ system level of body organization. If it is organ systems, then organ system level of body organization. In animal kingdom, so you might have come across that one, of course. Right? So like this, so all the systems are there. Now, in this chapter, there are three type studies that we come across. Already in the last video, I have mentioned all those one. So one is earthworm, second one is cockroach, third one is frog. So like this is some of the lower organisms that we consider for our study, right? And the systems, the organ systems as well as organs, what are there in those respective animals, model animals, we study in detailed manner, right? So in this chapter, right? So their digestive system, nervous system, respiratory system, expiratory system, reproductive system, all these are the things that we study thoroughly about these organisms, three organisms. Now, so let us start with the first type study, that is earthworm, right? So let's start with earthworm. Let us start with earthworm now. Yes, this earthworm is one of the animals which is very much useful for human being, especially the farmers, right? So hence it is said to be as a farmer's friend, right? It is described as farmer's friend. Why it is described as farmer's friend? Why? Because this animal has one nature to burrow the soil, especially it burrows the moist soil, and it eats on or feed on the moist soil and throw it out of its body, and that increases the soil fertility. When soil fertility that increases by this animal, it is more useful for the farmer to grow richly the crop plants, right? So that's why it is commonly said to be as farmer's friend, and it is said to be as a natural plog man. So it is commonly said to be as a natural plog man. Why it is called so is because its burrowing nature. It burrows the soil and makes many number of burrows inside, so that the aeration take place inside the soil. That is more useful for the soil and the plants. So that's why natural plog man it is called as, right? So this is the things what are commonly said as. And these earthworms nowadays they are used by the human being. They have been exploited in the production of organic fertilizer. That is very useful for the farmers, right? So these animals are used for production of organic fertilizers, which is more useful for the farmer to grow the crop plants. That's why it is said to be as farmer's friend. That's why it is said to be as farmer's friend. Without any expenditure, we can grow these animals in the place where we put the animal dungs and other waste products, right? Organic waste. So in one place. So there it start to feed on that organic matter and cast or throw it out of the body. That increase the fertility of the soil. That's why it is commonly known as farmer's friend, right? So this is one thing. And the next one, there are some Indian species are there, so very much useful the species of these animals are there. So those are, first one is lumbricus. Lumbricus is most common animal, that is one, and second one is ferretima. Ferretima is another most common one. So here in India, ferretima postuma is most common earthworm available here itself, right? So whenever we go through the systematic position of this animal, right? So that is linear hierarchy what we have studied. So systematic position, it comes under Animalia kingdom. Animalia is there, and right? Kingdom Animalia and phylum Annelida, class Oligochaeta, class Oligochaeta, genus Ferretima, and species Prostoma. So like this, it's a systematic position. This one is right. These animals are naturally said to be as burrowing animals. These are burrowing animals. So these are said to be as burrowing animals. Why? Because they burrow the moist soil. They live inside. They live inside burrows, and those burrows are named as drillospheres. Or they are named as drillospheres. And these animals, during burrowing the moist soil, they consume, they eat, or they feed on this moist soil. They feed on this moist soil which contains the organic humus itself, right? So, and it excretes the mud as pellets, hence it is said to be as its excreta itself is said to as mud pellets. Its excreta itself is called as mud pellets, and it is commonly known as what it is commonly known as worm cast. What it is known as worm cast. Very important point to be noted. Alright, worm cast is called as, right? So these animals are nocturnal animals. These are commonly known as, or these are named as nocturnal animals. Means they always wander at night, right? And these are also said to be as hermaphrodites. Why these are called as hermaphrodites? So you know what are hermaphrodites? They are nothing but bisexual animals. Bisexual animals means what? Both sexes are present in same animal. Both the sexes are present in the same animal, right? Hence these are called as hermaphrodites. Even though they are hermaphrodites, they show copulation. This is the unique feature of these animals. These show copulation. That is nothing but male and female mates each other. That is called as copulation, right? So these show copulation by attaching two animals to each other at a certain part of the body of these animals, right? So they attach each other and copulate each other. So they show copulation and cross fertilization. So this is a more important thing to be remembered. Here cross fertilization means what? Here one animal produces male gametes and those male gametes uses the female gamete of another animal. Right? In the same way, this animal produces male gametes and female gametes. fertilization has been shown by these animals itself. This is also very unique feature of these animals. Okay, so this is about the introduction of these earthworm itself. So let us start with the morphology of the animal's body, right? Let us start with the morphology of this animal, right? Morphology. Morphology in the sense that external features of this animal. How this animal is externally. So it is externally whenever we see this animal, that is earthworm, that moment it is elongated, cylindrical in shape. So whose body has one symmetry, that is bilateral symmetry. As you are seeing the diagram, so there is bilateral symmetry you will see over here, right? So these are this animal is elongated, cylindrical and bilaterally symmetrical. One, bilaterally symmetrical one. So this animal is measuring about 6 to 8 inches in length and 3 to 6 mm in diameter. 3 to 6 mm in diameter. This kind of animal, right? So this kind of animal has the body segments. The body is divisible into many circular ring-like structures. Hence, this group of animal is said as annelida. Annulus means rings. So the body is made up of many ring-like structures or the segments. So body is segmented one here. Hence, these are named as annelidans. Right? Body is divisible into. Body is divisible into many ring-like structures called as metamers, and the arrangement of these metamers is said to be as metamerism. Is the unique feature. There are two types of metamerism that we come across. One is false metamerism and true metamerism. There are two types of metamerism that we come across. One is false metamerism and second one is true metamerism. So this is one of the unique features of this animal. So whenever we see the first and the last segments, that moment, the first segment, so that is anteriorly, it is tapering end. It has tapering end at the anterior part and it has blunt end at the posterior part, right? Animal's body has anterior tapering end and posterior blunt end. So like this, there are two ends that we come across over here, right? So this is about what? So the morphologically, how the body is looking to be as externally. And next point is very important point, that is mark. So in the first segment, there we come across two structures. One is mouth, another one is prostomium. What is the unique feature of this prostomium? Let us see now. The first segment in this animal is first segment in this animal has two parts. One is called as prostomium and second one is called as mouth. What is this prostomium? It is a thick fleshy structure. So you are observing here thick fleshy structure which encovers this mouth itself. So mouth is on the ventral surface and mid-ventral appears, and the remaining half ventral part is covered with a fleshy extension called as prostomium. And this prostomium that encovers the mouth itself. Right? It is helpful for uncovering the mouth. Prostomium. It is a fleshy extension on half ventral part, and the remaining half part has a crescent shaped mouth. Crescent shaped means half moon shaped. It is half moon shaped mouth is there, and that mouth is uncovered with the fleshy extension called as prostomium. Right? So these are the two parts together form the first segment, the first metamer of this earthworm. And this part itself has tapering end because of this prostomium. It's a tapering end it has. Right? And next one. So on the 14 to 16, this is 14, this is 15, this is 16. 14 to 16 segments. On the 14 to 16 segments, there you will come across a circular band of glandular tissue. Right? So what do you come across there? In 14 to 16 segments. In 14 to 16 segments, there is a circular band of glandular tissue. A circular band of glandular tissue itself is called as clitellum. What it is called as? Clitellum or gluteum. So clitellum is present over here from 14 to 16 segments, and these segments are about 100 to 120 number of segments are seen over here. So see here, total number of segments is equal to 100 to 120 segments are there. So circular ring-like structures are there, right? Metamers are there, right? So among them, 14 to 16 segments. So altogether form a circular band of glandular tissue, and is called as what? Clitellum. Because of the presence of this clitellum in this region of the animal, so this part itself is called as pre-clitellar region, and this part itself is said to be as the clitellar region, and this part itself is called as post-clitellar region. So like this, the body is divisible into three parts because of the presence of this circular band of glandular tissue, that is clitellum. Because of the presence of this clitellum, the body is divisible into pre-clitellar region and clitellar region. and postcollateral region. So like this. So there are three parts that we come across. One is collateral and pre-collateral and post-collateral region. Right? This way they have been classified into three major parts that we come across. So this is most important point to be noted over here. And one more thing, what is the unique nature of this thick circular band of glandular tissue? What is the unique feature of this one? So this has glands, and those glands secrete some of the secretions, and those secretions would help two animals to attach. Already I have mentioned, so they show cross fertilization, they show copulation by attachment of two animals, right? In the same way, here what happens is, so in the clitoral region, so two animals they attach each other, right? So it helps in attachment of two animals during copulation. This is most unique feature of this clitoris. Okay, next one. It also helps in making the cocoon. You will come across a cocoon stage in these animals. That cocoon is made over here itself. So that is the unique feature of this clitoris. Right? So this is about the clitoris. And later, there in each segment, there we come across, there are some circular, so this kind of structures that are called as setae. What is a setae or setae? Sometimes they are called as setae. So such kind of setae are present, or they have been so fitted in, or they have been merged in the cuticle part of the body. In the cuticular pits, they are arranged on the ventral, so lateroventral sides. And such kind of structures are called as setae. These setae are having the main function, that is locomotion. These setae have a nodular structure, and that structure itself is called as nodulus. And these setae are usually absent in the first segment. They are absent in this 14 to 16 segment, that is clitoral, and they are absent in the last segment. So these setae are the locomotory organs which are absent in the first, last as well as clitoral, right? So they are absent over there. So this is how the morphological feature of these animals, right? Next characteristic features, let us see now. Next one is anal segment. The last segment has anus. There is opening in the last segment. Hence, that segment is called as anal segment. It has one opening that acts as the anus over here. Now we came to know what are the external features of these animals. Setae are nothing but they are the structures. They are S-shaped structures. One more point, that is S-shaped structures whose middle part itself is bulges itself, and that bulged part is called as nodal region or node-like structure. Hence it is called as nodulus. And so next one is it has 100 to 120 number of segments are there. Okay, in each segment, now we shall come to the next point, that is in each segment there we come across some of the openings. So in some segments they are absent. What are those So dorsal or ventral or ventrolateral, or so on the ventral side totally. There are some apertures that we come across on the body of these animals. What are those apertures? Let us see now one by one.